Hi, this is Marshall Cupp from The Omen, and you're listening to the World of the Unexplained on the Omnisound Radio 1 network.
I am Dracula, Backup man, the Messiah. Suffice it that the blood of 1,000 men and women was spilled in these walls. Limbs twisted and broken, eyes gouged from bloody sockets, flesh burned black. Please. Await the dead. In death, there are no accidents, no coincidences, no mishaps, and no escapes. But you have to realize that we're all just a mouse that a cat has by the tail.
The number you have reached, 911, has been changed to a non-published number.
What's up, guys?
Hey there, world.
Hey there, world. All right, that's great.
I don't really know. That just really came out.
All right, tonight we've got Doug and Scott L.
That's a real treat, guys.
from Ghostly Talk, and we're going to talk about everything from ghost hunting to fishing expeditions in northern Michigan. No, I don't know. But we're going to talk about everything, anything. If you have any questions, you know the number, 800-960-2289. Give us a call, and we'll just...
436-996, the other number.
Yeah, 1596. But anyway, all that's on the website, and I don't really know how to... These guys have been doing this thing for the... they've been broadcasting for, 5 years now. It's
really, honestly, one of these guys that you're listening to on the way up to Florida.
Yeah.
That inspired.
Good show. Yeah.
I mean, it totally
helped
is.
inspire this show, actually. Yeah.
So we're quite honored to have them.
Definitely an honor, and I guess we'll just bring them on now. Guys, are you there?
Hello. Is this that one radio show where they talk about, aliens?
Yep. Sometimes.
On occasion, we've been known to do that.
That's the one I wanted.
Okay, good.
Anyway.
Guys,
How you guys doing?
well, I tell you right now, here in Michigan, we are experiencing the hottest day of the summer right now, we think.
What is it?
It topped out at 99 degrees today with 100% humidity or heat index or something like that.
Wow. Sounds like Florida.
Because we're inside.
No, that's good advice.
So you're in your studio now, right?
Yeah, we're at the winery right now, and we have our ashtrays freshly cleaned, and
So are ours.
Yes, it's one of those rituals.
How much is a pack of cigarettes?
Beverage in front of me and everything. Hey, Jay, hey, Trent. Yes, we're Ghostly Talking. We're invading just for this, 2 hours or so?
yeah.
That's right.
So
Great to be here.
Yeah,
thank you.
guys.
thanks so much for coming on the show. So what do you guys want to talk about ghost hunting first? And you were telling us before we got on here about some of the conferences that you guys were going around doing. Can you give us some details on that?
Well, it's a new thing for us. We didn't realize. Well, from what I understand, this year in particular has been a real, there's been just a snowball effect this year of conferences going on. I mean, I thought it was something that, us as Ghostly Talk, it's something we didn't really take advantage of as a media conglomerate, I guess, or a media.
Oh, yeah, that's
we're a conglomerate of two people.
We're more like a needle in a haystack.
Yeah. Well, as a media thing in the paranormal community, we didn't think it was something. At first, I thought it was something we never really took advantage of. But for talking to some really cool people at these conferences, they all agree. They're like, man, this year has been completely nuts. We've been going all over the country this year. So this year has been a really big year, and next year is shaping up already to be just every weekend, pretty much for from January to December of next year.
Well, what I get out of the conferences are, first of all, we get to see the faces of the folks that we talk to and interview on the radio.
Right.
And then, but even more than that, because we can correspond, with authors and experts and guests and get them on the show, whenever they have an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
But the people. There's so many people attend the conferences, and each person there has just marvelous stories about, you know, their ghost hunting exploits and the different places that they've been and what they've learned along the way. And one of my favorite things was when we were at the CPRI conference in Richmond, Virginia. We sat at this table with we were assigned, you know, tables, and
well, that's a hilarious story in itself. We'll tell you about that.
Yeah, that's a good one. But we sat at this table with these ghost hunters from nearby, I guess, and we talked. You sat at a separate table, didn't you, Scott L?
Well, yeah, I don't want to be around you when we're.
Oh, he asked for us to be separated.
Yeah, I had my own room, my own, everything I needed for myself, and then they had I came in my own limo and all that stuff.
Right.
Right.
And we all know how much this stuff pays, right?
Right. So it really is all champagne and limousines.
For half my bus ticket, and they put me in, they gave me a pillow and sent me to the curb. But it's okay. I sat at a separate table with these fascinating people. They didn't look like, your typical ghost hunters, but boy, did they have some marvelous stories. And we sat there and compared ghost hunting stories and talked about the conference and talked about, all the people that they'd met there and the things that they'd learned and the things that I'd learned. And it was a magnificent dinner. That was what the awards banquet.
Yeah.
What a fantastic time.
That's when we were having dinner, yeah.
Totally unexpected. And I had a blast. And it was that hooked me on the conference circuit.
Yeah, we want to go to all of them
now. Yeah.
The thing about the conferences, we just find, like Doug said, is that there's just so many people to talk to there. It's really nice to finally meet some amazing people we've had on the show in the past. Like, he's been a topic of discussion a lot on the show lately, is Mr. John Zaffis, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, John's just, the night we got to the CPRI conference, for example, well, of course, it was supposed to be only an 8-hour drive or something, Doug, and it turned into like a 12 or 13-hour drive because we were stuck in Washington D.C. for 3 or 4 hours.
Oh yeah, we went 13 miles in 3 hours.
It was ridiculous. It was horrendous.
On the I-495 or something like that.
The hellish I-495.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
You're making my skin crawl.
Yeah, we just sat there in traffic. We finally got there though, and we come to find out that half the people, half the speakers, half the people that were part of the event, like ourselves, were going to be late also, which included Jason and Grant from TAPS, and then John Zappis also. Then we're like, well, man, we really want to meet these guys. Well, all of a sudden, they were having dinner when we got there. Everybody was having dinner and relaxing. So we went and got a plate and got a bite to eat ourselves, and in comes this man, and we recognize him as soon as we see him, and it's the John Zappis, and we're like, oh my God. We don't know what to say to this guy. We're just a couple of guys that do this show once a week. And
so we dropped to our knees and bowed down.
Yeah.
and it turns out we didn't have to do that. He's like, no.
Stand up. You're worthy.
Yeah. Don't stop groveling.
This man literally though, and just the way I looked at it, he literally lit the room up because he walks in there and he just sits down, grabs a cup of coffee, and starts telling us stories. So we start talking about, it started out with crazy people you've had to deal with in the past, which if you're in this, you deal with handfuls of them. And he goes into this thing, and we're literally holding our sides laughing. We're having so much fun with this guy.
And then of course we continued on about his paranormal museum, and it just was a complete, it was a whole night. It was enough.
That was just to start the thing.
And that was the beginning of the conference, and we just had a blast. We were hooked from the beginning on the conference circuit.
I actually told John, and because he was also at the Eastern Regional Paranormal Conference that just happened a couple weeks ago, and me and John were outside talking, and we got into some discussion about meeting celebrities or something like that. I'm like, well, John, I got to be honest with you, man. When I met you at first, I was so nervous. I was literally almost shivering because we've been following, all of us, here at Ghostly Talk have been following your work since we were children. We've known about you and known the stuff you've been doing. And of course he's like, oh, shut up. Could you cut it out? I'm like, no, I'm serious, man. I go, the only time I really felt like that really is when I met Ace Frehley from Kiss, I was like, whoa, I was totally freaked out. So, I mean...
I met Ace Frehley when he did his tour. He came through Winston. He was so drunk, we had to write down the name of the city and state that he was in. So it was that bad. It was that bad.
Tell you what he said to us when we met him?
Ace or John?
Ace Frehley.
Okay, sure, what?
Ace Frehley, we met him in 1996 when they were doing their, 14th final reunion tour. And it was at the Old Tiger Stadium here in Detroit. I had a friend who was doing lighting for the show, so I was lucky enough to get backstage passes for that, right?
Uh-huh.
And we walked back there, and my friend Mike's like, there he is, dude. I'm like, and there was Ace Frehley sitting in a chair shivering, he's just totally out of it, right? And we walk up to him, he's like, let's go talk to him. I'm like, dude, I can't talk to him, man. This is Ace Frehley. This is like my childhood right here. I can't, I'm basing my childhood. I don't know how I'm going to deal with this. So we walk up to him, though, and, we're like, hey, you there? Hello? Hi. And he's just not, he's in space, right?
Uh-huh.
We finally get his attention, and we're like, Mr. Frehley, it's an honor to meet you. I mean, your guitar playing and your work has been an inspiration to all of us, for years. The whole stupid speech that everybody does when they meet somebody like that, right? He looks up at us for a second, and it's about a 10 or 20-second pause. And we're just, staring at each other, like this uncomfortable silence is going on. And he looks at us and goes, so, you guys, going to drink some beers or what?
Sounds like Ace.
I mean, what do you say to a person like that? You're backstage at KISS, right? With one of the members of KISS. And we're like, yeah, we're gonna drink some beers. I mean, meeting people like that is we got to meet Troy Taylor a couple weekends ago at the Eastern Regional Paranormal Conference. Again, it was like, oh my God! I mean, these are people that we've aspired to for so many years, and these conferences are a really good opportunity for people to go. Anybody, not just us, because we do this little radio show. Anybody to go up there and shake these guys' hand, ask them questions. Pick their brains. I mean, everybody we've ever met as far as authors or speakers or investigators have all, at these conferences have always been more than forthcoming to answer any of our questions.
Yeah, I have to say I pounced on both Nathan and John.
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, infants and psychic attacks. Are they immune? Are they not immune? What's up? And they told me, experiences that they'd, seen experienced and seen in the past.
Yeah.
And so I got a good grounding on infants and psychic attacks.
No, you guys do know that John Zaffis is actually going to start doing a podcast on the OmniSound Network.
Oh, yeah, we know about that. We're really excited about that, too.
I am so excited. I've been for more paranormal radio, paranormal media on the radio. I've been pro that ever since before day one, because one of the reasons Ghostly Talk started was because there was so little of it.
Yeah.
And so I want more. And now Taps, of course, is doing, Taps Para Radio.
Yeah,
John Zaffis is going to start his. And I am just so excited that people are catching on and doing this. It gives me something to put on my little iPod thing.
I can honestly say, and I can speak from experience on this, guys, because I remember Doug when we first started doing this show, God, back in 1825 or something. We were sitting in his kitchen talking, right? We were like, back in the day, we still are, I guess, but I mean, we're sitting in his kitchen, chain smoking and drinking diet, drinking soda, let's say, and we're just getting ideas and cranking ideas out. And he's like, Doug literally looked at me this one day and said, here's what I envision, man. And I'm like, what do you envision? And he's like, I would like to see a whole network of shows like this come together and start doing shows every week or every night or whatever it is. We have all this information being cranked out every night. I'd love to see that, And it's really, that's what we're both tickled to death to see, all these wonderful shows like John Zaffis' show and Taps Para Radio. Lloyd Auerbach's doing his own shows on the OmniSound Radio Network also.
Phenomenal.
And these are people
And Rosemary's coming, actually.
Rosemary Ellen Guiley you're talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Excellent. Even better, you see. It's really cool to have these people working in this arena now, too, because, doing Ghostly Talk, I mean, we started this show up originally as a show, by ghost hunters for ghost hunters. That was the original idea. Of course, over the years, we've spread out into all different directions as far as the paranormal community goes. the unknown goes, ancient mysteries, you name it. I mean, God, we have Odorous Urungus coming on again from Guar this month. You know, and,
Oh, wow.
I mean, these people all have something really interesting to say, though. It's amazing. I mean, I couldn't believe we had, Odorous Urungus come on the show, and I'm thinking, oh my God, okay, we have to watch him say, can't swear, all this stuff. But he actually sat down with us for an hour and wowed the heck out of us on some of the amazing things that he's been through, he's read, he's talked about, he's seen. So to have people in the field, though, like Lloyd Auerbach, like Jason and Grant, who have been doing this stuff actively for a very long time, with the experience they have, with the background they have, that is even better. We're just a couple of guys that go ghost hunting, I mean,
but it's all perspective.
Yeah,
we have a perspective, and we have some kind of rapport between us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's, it's absolutely right for some people, and it's absolutely wrong for others.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't believe the hate mail we get. You guys need to do this and that and the other thing. And
Yeah.
it's like, well,
That's why we have P.O. boxes, too, guys. We're afraid of our own listeners.
I learned that a long time ago, that you get a P.O. box right away. I don't want anybody sitting out in front of my house.
Yeah, no joke.
we know that ghostly talk isn't for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? We know that Taps Para Radio isn't for everybody. We know that each individual show isn't for everybody. But with something like Omnisound pulling it all together, there's going to be something for just anybody who's interested. And that's what I want. I want people to be able to go somewhere and get their paranormal fix.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people, we're none of us are competing. We're all friends in this community. It's a very small community, and especially if we can get all these shows in the same, in the same place. I mean, I think that's just the one-stop shop for all this stuff.
Absolutely. And that's what I think we saw years ago, what we wanted to see happen. We had something together like that a long time ago called Pioneer Radio, where we pulled together a bunch of shows. For a little, well, it was a few shows. It was
quite a
lineup.
Schedule.
It was an interesting schedule.
But it was early, and we don't. I certainly didn't have time or energy to put into everything like what Omnisound is doing.
Oh yeah.
It's not my forte, right? It's other people's forte, and that's the thing. It's teamwork. Everybody working together to bring paranormal media out to whoever can and needs and wants to access it. And it's teamwork. I'm not good at being a network. And I don't want to be good at being a network. I'm not even good at being a co-host.
Oh, come on.
But I certainly have a lot of fun.
I agree, Doug. You're terrible at that.
And I learn a lot. Yeah, I know. You tell me that every day in the email.
God. Well, guys, what? Tell us some of the experiences that you've had since you started doing this stuff that have really freaked you out. Scott, tell me about what's the freakiest experience you've had after doing the shows, starting doing the show.
You mean like as far as ghost hunting goes, or about the show itself?
Well, just as far as ghost hunting, as far as seeing something or feeling something, or
personal experience,
Well, there's a few things actually. What may happen is my experiences and Doug's experiences may tie together.
Okay. Even better. We were going to ask Doug next, but just jump right in.
Yeah.
Well, there will be overlap, but there are certainly some differences.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, one of the ones that sticks out right away was that back in when was that? The Fenton house. The last time we were there.
Oh, the door.
The door. Yeah.
Yeah. That was that May or something?
No, not May.
I don't know.
That was like late. Was it late last year? I think it was.
It was. As a matter of fact, they had. It wasn't it a hunt that was on.
That was October.
It was
that
on
was October.
Halloween night.
It was Halloween night. There's this place here in Michigan called the Historic Haunted Fenton Hotel. And it's not really a hotel anymore. It's it used to be a hotel, obviously.
Now it's a fine dining establishment and bar.
They got a killer prime rib, by the way. Check it out. It's really good stuff.
Plug. We have any interest in that other than it's haunted. But hey, I don't mind. They gave us great food, and they certainly gave us a good scare.
Yeah. Well, that night, this particular event was put together by a group called Brimstone Incorporated. by far probably our favorite ghost hunting group here in Michigan. As a matter of fact, the founder and president, lives about a mile away from the haunted winery here in Warren.
Okay.
So, and even funnier is that we found out Chris Bailey, the founder of Grimstone, and myself graduated from high school. We were in the same grade and everything in high school together. We didn't even know each other in high school, but now we know each other. So.
And we'd heard about Grimstone for what?
Years. They've been around for 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're like, wow, look at all these things that they're doing. But they were so revered that we wouldn't dare approach them with anything.
Well, yeah, they were a very tight-knit group from what we understood, and there was just this mystique about them that they had. That we used to go to their website all the time, but we were kind of scared to try to approach them because they had we at one time they were more of a private membership type group. They were very serious about their work, and we were like, well, if they heard this show, if they heard Ghostly talk before, they're not going to want to talk to us, right? Well. We were lucky enough to meet them last August at the Great Lakes Paranormal Research Society's haunted picnic they had, right?
Uh-huh.
So we're like, wow, Chris, well, really nice to meet you.
They did a presentation, and it was with a capital P. They brought everything. I mean, they pretty much had, they had the DLP projectors.
Oh, yeah, they had to lower a helicopter into the park, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was equipment for days. It was an awesome presentation.
Fascinating people, though, but they, we developed, a repertoire with these guys, and come to find out we had a great time together, and we had a lot of fun talking about, the paranormal and ghost hunting, so they invited us out to this Halloween event they were going to have at the Fenton Hotel. They're pretty much the group that works in that they have kind of like the rights to work through the owner of the Fenton Hotel.
Right. They work with the owner.
They work with the owner and stuff like that to have these investigations. They do private investigations and public investigations. This particular night, which was Halloween of 2005, they had a public investigation where people came and they had dinner, and then Grimstone facilitated them with all the gear they needed. They gave them clipboards. They gave them all the paperwork they needed to write their experiences down. They gave us flashlights. They literally gave us flashlights, too, if we needed flashlights. I mean, the whole 9 yards. We had everything we needed. We didn't even need to bring our stuff. It was like they had it all there for us already. Well, in this particular night, we were walking around, and it was a group of us. It was actually Chris Bailey from Grimstone was with us, and we were walking around the third level. Now, the first level of this place is the restaurant and bar. It's really beautiful. It's a beautiful establishment. The second level and the third level are where the rooms used to be, and they have not been used in a number of years, and it looks like it. They're pretty beat up, right? So, but that's where a lot of reported hauntings have been, and just experiences people have had. People have seen things, heard things, felt things up there. So we're walking around, and there was a group of about maybe 6 or 7 of us, and we walked in this one room, and Doug has his video camera going, right?
Okay.
And we're, Doug's doing his thing. He's intent. He's working really hard, and of course, I'm jumping around doing a dance routine or something in the background like I do in every ghost hunt. And all of a sudden, Doug goes, "Scott, that door is closing." So, and we'll send you a copy of this. You guys should check this out. We have it up on the web somewhere here, where the camera goes to the door, and Doug says, "Scott, that door is closing." And I say what Doug refers to as the ghost hunter's prayer, which is holy S word. I saw this right in front of my eyes, man. I mean, this door.
Because once I called attention to it, everybody's looking at it now, right?
Yeah,
of course.
I had seen it through the
camera,
the infrared in the camera.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that door is closed. Because I was at first inspecting the hideous wallpaper. It was absolutely terrible. I thought, wow, tastes have changed a lot since the early, teens or whatever. and so then I pan over, and there's this door, but it's to a connecting room, and it's actively closing. So of course, then we had to really investigate that door.
Yeah, we spent an hour basically just
trying to get the door to move.
Well, the first thing we thought was like we got 6 or 7 people walking in this room at the same time. This is an old building. the door would maybe we shifted the building just a little bit to make that door shut by itself.
Right. So because we're brilliant ghost hunters, right? we open the door back up, and then we all file out. We file back in. We start jumping up and down and dancing in the room, and we couldn't. We have it on tape. We literally recreated the event. We all walked out of the room. And we walked in the exact same way.
We walked in the exact same way to see if we could make this thing happen again. Of course, it didn't happen again. So basically, watching that, I mean, as far as a paranormal experience is concerned, that is one of those things that really puts the hook in you. For me, at least, I was like, wow. I mean, you hear about that stuff on shows or people tell you about it, and I watched the door shut right in front of me. It was amazing. Well, I saw it firsthand this time, and for the first time in my career, and I say that in quotes, my career as a ghost hunter, that was the first time. It just blew me away. And we got it on tape too. That was even cooler to see. To actually have some evidence to back that up too.
Oh yeah.
Well, guys, we're gonna cut to a short break real quick. If you'll hang on, we'll be right back with the guys from GT after this.
When you're alone in the dark, do you ever worry that you're not actually alone?
This is Loda Hadley.
Hi, this is Ethan Dettenmeyer. How you doing? This is Gary Casper.
This is Eileen G. from The Exorcist.
World of the Unexplained with Jay Scott and Trent Lackey. Heard Mondays live from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern on the OmniSound Radio 1 network.
And we're back with the guys from Ghostly Talk. You guys there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
We can hear you a lot better now.
Yeah, fantastic.
Oh, good.
Wow.
Wow, what a difference a phone call.
Usually joins us.
Yeah, Murphy. It
Of Murphy's Law.
Yeah.
He joins us here a lot.
I hear that.
Right.
We have our same problems.
We're paying with the phone line stuff.
Oh yeah, man, it can get really crazy sometimes.
Yeah.
We had a thing with Jeff Walmsley on our show, Mothman guy.
That's almost kind of a creepy story a little bit.
Yeah, the phone just kept like going out. It was really weird, and we checked everything, and everything was hooked up exactly fine. Everything was working properly, and it just kept messing up.
And we would receive calls too, and there would be no one
would speak.
No one was on the line, and we got multiple times like that.
It was really weird.
Yeah, Mothman kind of creeps me out a little bit anyway, to say the least.
Jeff Walmsley's the man. We love that guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
I actually met him when I went up to Point Pleasant. When was that?
About a couple of months ago, 2-3 months.
A few months ago, yeah. We were playing. My band was playing up in Charleston, West Virginia. And I was like, man, I'm only like an hour and a half from Point Pleasant. I'm driving up there. Kind of weird.
Yeah. Speaking of
West did,
Virginia.
Well, I was going to say you guys. Yeah. But you guys did. Didn't you guys do the Mothman Festival last year?
Yeah, we've been there 2 years in a row. 2 years in a row.
2 years.
Matter of fact.
Oh wow. So how was that?
Great event. Great event. The first year we went there, that was 2004. Unfortunately, like a monsoon or something came through, like the whole Ohio, West Virginia area there. So we had to get a pontoon boat to get over to West Virginia across the river because every house was floating down there next to it.
Yes, there were houses floating in the Ohio River.
Oh my gosh.
But we got down there and got to meet Jeff. We went down there the night before just to check the town out, just on our own, just to see just get a feel for it. And Jeff was actually there, hanging out at the building. It's the Mothman Museum now they have.
Oh yeah.
He was there hanging out. We talked to him for a little while, and that was more of a. That year we just more or less just kind of hung out. We see like when we go to these little conferences, we bring, we see people like they have their big posters up of their face next to them and all this stuff, and then they have like their whole t-shirt section over here, and we just came there with like a big stack of free CDs and stuff like that.
And our
cards.
business cards,
Yeah, for free. We don't care, right? So we had a little table for that. We hung out all day long, and it was pretty low key. We just hung out and met a lot of really great people who we've had on the show since then. And it was a lot of fun. Obviously, over a year though, when we went this past September in 2005. It's grown. It's growing exponentially. This year it was more outside. The weather was a lot better, thank goodness. So we actually had our booth set up where we broadcasted from the. We taped a bunch of interviews from the event. Bonnie, our Bonnie, like our third co-host now. she was out running around just grabbing people randomly. Like, oh, okay, so I think we talked to the guy who made that metal statue.
Yep,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
We talked to the guy who made the metal statue. We talked to the Mothman.
We talked to we talked to Spider-Man.
We talked to Spider-Man and a beauty queen.
The beauty queen, like of West Virginia, was there, so we hung out with her and talked for a while.
Did she have a full set of teeth?
Oh my gosh, Scott, you just went right there to the place where I was not going.
That's why they call it, I joke with my guitar player because he's from West Virginia, and he even jokes on himself. He says that's why they call it, a toothbrush, because it was invented here instead of a teeth brush.
Right.
No, but it's a really great event, though. I mean, it's a lot of fun. We had a ball, and we're going this year again, too. We'll be out there in full force again for 2006 Mothman.
Now, did you guys stay in the Low Hotel?
Well, we don't get to stay there, no.
Well, we try. Actually, well, this year, because like the last 2 years we talked, we should stay in the Low Hotel.
We've been saying that for years now.
Well, that's a creepy place.
Well, yeah. Well, this year I'm like, okay, guys. Well, if we want to stay in a Low Hotel, maybe we should call a little further in advance besides like the night before.
Probably.
So I actually called them about a month ago and said, hi, we're from this show. Like that's going to have any pull at all, but we're from this show. And, we're going to be at the conference that weekend. We're wondering what the availability of hotels is. She's like, right now, sold out. There's no way you're getting in there. She's like, you might want to call us a month before the event. We might have something open up. So we're going to probably stay at our usual bed and breakfast place out there that we normally go to. Hopefully we can get into the Low. We'd like to. We really want to get in there and spend the night in that place.
I stayed there with my girlfriend last time I was up there. It's the weirdest place. It's got like the actual, the old skeleton keys.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's skeleton keys on the doors of the actual rooms themselves. It's really wild. Everything's just really...
It's a lot better than those stupid cards you get usually at those places. You always lose those stupid things, and they don't work half the time.
I was just say they don't work.
Yeah, somebody at the front desk didn't plug them out right.
Off your sidearm. I don't think you're going to lose
that's going to work.
Yeah. Okay. That's something nice to know about that, though.
Yeah, real keys, and they really work.
Yeah. Imagine that, real keys.
Oh.
Wow.
Well, they say that place is haunted upstairs.
Yeah. Very haunted, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think Robin Bellamy usually tries to get the haunted suite or the haunted, one or more of the haunted rooms. Mm-hmm. She'll be speaking this year at the conference.
When is that conference this year? When is it this year?
September.
Oh God.
September 7 plus.
Wait, it's September.
It's gonna be like the 12th-ish.
Okay.
No, wait. Actually, it's later in the month. See, this is why you have schedules. You can't remember anything. I think.
Mothmanlives.com. That'll tell.
Yeah, I think that's.
Mothman Lives. I believe it's the weekend, though. If my memory is correct, it's the weekend of the 22nd and 23rd of September. I think I'm correct. If not, just go to mothmanlives.com and all the information's around the front page there.
I think Trent's going to check that out now.
There you go.
I'm on it. He's on it.
Verify my information. I want to see if I'm correct or not.
All right, we're going to find out. We'll have callers call in. We're going to start a bet here and see what... Where are you at, man? You're on a MySpace. He's on a MySpace site. What are you doing?
I just put in Mothman Lives, and it says now I'm on a MySpace that says Mothman Ohio,
and at mothmanlives.com.
That's what I put in. It's on Mothman's webpage.
Yeah.
Look, okay.
Yeah, they took over the internet last night, didn't you know?
Yeah.
That's why our page doesn't work anymore.
Tom and his cronies just decided to take over the whole internet.
Yeah, they're like, well, all right, we'll just take the whole thing.
Okay, September 16th and 17th.
16th and 17th.
Wrong.
That's great, Scott.
That's your final answer?
Somebody who made their radio cut out or something before now is kind of like, I'm going to go to the Mothman Festival.
Show up a week late.
September 9th, we were supposed to be going off to New York City. Because the 11th is a Monday. Mm-hmm. We were going to be there for the memorial thing.
Yeah.
And it turns out that's not doable anymore. Mm-hmm. So if that was the 9th, and then Mothman was the following weekend.
You're right.
So there you go.
Are you guys coming to North Carolina anytime soon?
North Carolina?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Well, we were supposed to.
When was that?
We were supposed to be in South Carolina, but it didn't. I hadn't heard anything else about that. Don't they do the Shoals?
Oh, yeah.
North or South Carolina.
Yeah, you're right.
We were going to be doing that this year, but I hadn't heard what
We haven't heard it.
That.
Well, we haven't heard it. We have to get back with the people on that still.
That's a big
it's like
a charity event.
It's a charity event, and it falls around like everything, like from all the way from like scientific ghost hunting to horror films. I mean, they have people there from all different genres and stuff like that. And I know I have to follow that up some more because that wasn't the talks of us coming out there. I believe it was going to be the Halloween weekend, as a matter of fact.
I believe that's when the show is.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, but we haven't heard anything on that yet, so we'll have to find out. If we do, we'll get a hold of you guys for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. We're just up the road, I'm sure.
Yeah. I heard there were like insurance and legal and all that kind of stuff whenever you put on a big event.
Oh yeah.
You get all the red tape and stuff, and evidently it was ultra twisted this year.
Yeah.
So trying to work their way through all that, could take actually 2 years. So
those little things you sign saying that they're not responsible, that you can't be held. They can't be held to that. You can still sue them. Trust me. It's a good thing to know.
When's the Mothman Fest again? I want to remember this.
16th and 17th.
Yeah, it's the 16th and 17th.
All right, so I was totally wrong then. All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
Guys, if you want to call us here and speak with the guys from GT, you can give us a call here at 800-960-2289. That's 800-960-2289, or locally at 336-996-1596.
And don't forget about the chat room if you're feeling shy.
Yeah, you can come into the chat room. We don't care. I'm surprised you guys aren't in the chat room. What's going on here?
We could be.
We could be. I didn't know that was a prerequisite. I'm sorry. We'll get on that. Come on.
I don't know. Maybe. That would require multitasking.
This chat room thing is interesting because I love chat rooms. They're totally cool.
Oh yeah.
But I know it's one of the things that I've kind of, as far as doing ghostly talk and stuff like that, it's just never been my focus. Like Bonnie now, she's way more involved with the show and stuff like that, so she tends to be on the laptop now, monitoring the chat room and getting questions for us and stuff like that.
And occasionally bursting out in laughter during the show.
Yeah, randomly like
yeah,
these.
We don't know what went on, but having a great time.
Yeah, we're over here working ourselves, sweating ourselves to death, and she's just laughing randomly. But I mean, that's one thing. I've always kind of I don't want to say shied away from, but it's something I never really paid much attention to. But I see now that it's a very important aspect of what we're doing. It really does make a big difference to have a chat room going during your show, because you get more questions that way. It's important.
Now, guys, I'm going to ask you a hardball question. I ask all my guests at least one. So here's the hardball question for you guys tonight.
Yeah.
And that question is, what happened to Will?
Wow.
Yeah, that's my hardball.
Scott.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Are we taking a break now?
Not for a while.
Nope.
Are you guys? I mean, are you guys still friends? I mean,
absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
We're as a matter of fact, it was actually on the humorous side because Will had left the show, and for like that weekend, he announced it on like a Tuesday or something.
Yeah, something
right?
like that. Yeah.
That weekend, him and I. And was Bonnie with us? I think so. Bonnie, no,
she wasn't. It was just you and Will.
It was me and Will.
Yeah.
Me and Will go down to Indiana on a ghost hunting trip.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were ghost hunting that weekend, and everyone's like, oh, Will's being ostracized or whatever.
No, it wasn't like that.
And it's nothing like that. We've been on several trips. He went with us to CTRI.
Yeah, Eastern Regional Conference.
He went with us to Eastern Regional 2 weekends ago to Gettysburg. He's our ghost hunting buddy.
Yeah.
I was just wondering because it seemed like he'd been, I don't know how long, it'd been a long time he'd been part of the show, and I didn't know. I knew some of the things that I had heard about something that was played that should have been played at a certain time, and I know that was.
Things happen and stuff like that, But bottom line really is our number one thing with this show is that this show was started by two friends, right?
Oh yeah.
And we've had people come and go, and at one time we had
Karma.
We had Karma, Christy Karma. I switch it back and forth, but her name was Karma. She was on the show for about a year and a half, and she had other things that she wanted to move on and do in life. So that was totally cool, no problem at all. We're still friends with her.
She kept calling and saying, "Oh, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there,"
Oh,
and then
well,
she wouldn't show up because, she had been involved in an auto accident.
Really bad auto.
And so she had all kinds of health issues, and she's much better now, by the way. And we're still friends with her. We hear from her every so often, but right now her job is weekends. I mean, her main shift is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and she's working almost constantly Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And of course, our show's on Sunday, so it doesn't, it just cannot work out.
Yeah.
In that case, because of her job now, but she's much better, and we still are in contact. And Will, of course, he's going to our events with us. I wonder if that confused people.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think it might have at first. Being with the show for so long, but I'm gonna get off that topic and let y'all guys breathe again.
You know what, Jay? By the way, that wasn't a hardball question. That's totally cool. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's a question that we've been getting asked a lot lately. And like I said, we're still friends, and people move on with other things in life, and that's totally cool. No problem at all. We're still here doing Ghostly Talk. This is what we do. This is what we want to keep doing. So
yeah, Will actually has a couple of projects that he's working on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What are they?
He's doing a website. Let me think. It's soon to come up. It's something about paranormal evidence or something like that .com. He's also working on a book.
Oh wow, that's cool.
So he might be a guest on Ghostly Talk and do the talk show circuit soon. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
Maybe.
All right.
Interesting.
Well, guys, tell us about this. You guys have the envious position of being. Well, I'm envious anyway. I don't know about Trent and Chuck, but you guys were actually on Coast to Coast.
Oh yeah!
Wow.
When was that, and how did that happen?
That's one of my favorite topics.
You'll crack up laughing at this.
It
was interesting how it came about because
it's all you, Scott.
All right, I'll take it. It was interesting how it came about because one night I was working late in my office here at the winery, and I had whenever I go past 1 a.m. here in Michigan, that's when Coast to Coast comes on. So I'm like, okay, throw Coast to Coast on. So I'm listening to Mr. George Noory talk about things, talking to his guests, and it was just a little blurb. It was really small, right? But he said, "Oh, by the way, guys, I'm going to be in Detroit on the 20th of August. I think it was the 22nd, or I forgot what date it was. The 24th of August, or something like that. I'm going to be broadcasting live from a studio here in Detroit. So I'm looking forward to that because I don't know if you guys know or not. George Noory actually was born here in Detroit. This is his hometown.
I didn't know that.
So he comes here on vacation to visit his family and stuff like that. So, and luckily enough, they have a studio here that he can broadcast from and still do the show. So I heard this in my right ear, and then, both my ears popped up in the air like little antlers or something like that. And I'm like, oh boy, I need to do something about this. We can't let him come to Detroit and not bump heads with us, right? So I start emailing, right? And emailing. And this is like 2 months before that, right? And I just kept emailing and emailing. I didn't get a response for a little while. And then finally I received a response from George saying, get a hold of my producer and see if we can work something out. I'm like, okay, cool. So we basically sat down with them I talked to the producer like earlier that week of the broadcast. Like it was a Friday night. We were, he was here. And I got a phone call on Monday from the producer going, hey, what's up? Yeah, so what's going on? What do you guys want to do? We're like, well, we're researchers and stuff like that. We have a lot of evidence we could bring on the show and talk to you guys about. And okay, that sounds cool. We need it all in a package, really pretty now.
Oh, man.
Okay, so I'm like, Doug, now we need work. So literally we spent 2 nights, like, at the time I was working midnights at my job, so I'm at work. Quiet.
Let them know.
To put together some stuff on the website that these people could just download readily and use for the show. So we pulled that together, and literally we didn't get confirmed for that thing until the night before the show.
Oh my gosh.
We were not confirmed for it until the night before the show. I finally got a message that said, we are confirmed. You guys need to be here at this time. Here's what's up. Be down here. So we're like, cool. We made a whole night of it. We had a ball. We went down.
We went down and we had dinner and here we have Greektown.
Yeah, Greektown, Detroit.
Is a famous district of Detroit. And so we had dinner there. Then we hopped into the Greektown casino because we have.
You hopped into the Greek town.
You were in there too.
You guys, I'm sitting there.
And Will, of course, is the luckiest person on the planet. He feeds into 20 and he gets out like $24. And he feeds into another 20 and digs out, $28.
Oh, God.
He just always is going up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feed into 20 and then
you lose it.
walk away. It doesn't work.
He just gives the machine the money and just walks away. That's part of the fun.
I should just run up to the teller or whatever and say, here's the 20.
That's what I'm saying. We went there and I'm watching like thousands of people, by the way. I mean, this is a huge casino, right?
Doing the same thing.
I'm watching thousands of people just feeding money into these machines, pushing a button and getting mad and walking away. And I'm like, I don't understand the logic of this. I'm not much of a gambler, right?
But we did that until it was time, and then Bonnie took off and went her separate way because it was the three of us, Will, myself, and Scott, and we went to the studio.
Well, that's where it got funny.
And that's where, suddenly we're in this mad rush to try and get in the studio, but there's guards who don't know what's going on.
Well, this particular studio is it's in a part of Detroit that I guess if we were under a terror alert, let's say,
you would want to stay well away from.
You'd want to stay away from this building. So we get there and we're like, hi, we're from Ghostly Talk, Paranormal Talk Radio, and we have an appointment with George Noory and Coast to Coast AM on this floor at this time. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And we're like, well, you better call somebody because we need to be up there in about 15 minutes. The show starts. Well, hang on. So back and forth, and I'm just watching my watch the whole time. And okay, now we have 10 minutes. Okay, now we have 5 minutes. Okay, this really sucks. This is not cool. So finally, I kind of just say, look, we need to get up there now. You need to call somebody, and we literally had to get stern with them. Finally, our friend Gary from the studio came down and said, guys, we've been waiting for you. He actually left me a voicemail, but I left my phone in the car.
Because we knew not to bring phones into the studio.
You're not supposed to bring phones in there. So great to see you guys. They grabbed us up, brought us up there, and brought us into this beautiful studio where they were broadcasting from.
It's a lot different than the haunted basement and the haunted Warren Winery.
Way different.
Yeah.
But we walk in there, and it's like we had a couple minutes to go, so it was right before 1 a.m. And all of a sudden, we open the door up, and out pops his head, and it's the head of George Noory, and we're like, hey guys, nice to meet you. How you doing? Hi, I'm George Noory. It's really great to meet you guys. And we're like, and I mean, literally, we were ready to faint. We're like, this is George Noory. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? What have we gotten ourselves into? But then we sat down, and I mean, we really developed a new appreciation for George Noory and the work he does on that show because, what we do here, it's more of a laid-back thing with Ghostly Talk. We make the rules on this show, as far as how we present it, as far as who we want to, promote on the show, like in our little commercial break things we do, which are not really commercials. They're things for our friends. And this is a man who has to really work it hard. And he has a stopwatch in his hand at all times.
We have an atomic clock on the wall.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, right? This man was working, and you listen to the Coast to Coast AM, he sounds so laid back. Everything is wonderful. Everything's beautiful.
If I had to do that, I would fall apart within the first 25 seconds.
We'd break down and start crying on the air.
That's what I would do. But he has that so together. He is such a professional.
Yeah, we got in there, though, and we sat down, and we sat with George Noory for 2 hours talking about just our experiences as ghost hunters, and then we got into talking about the show a little bit, too, which was really exciting for us. We actually had to have a man sitting watching the server that night because George Noory is notorious for shutting down websites when you come on his show. So we literally had to have a man watching our server the whole night to make sure it didn't crash. And luckily, we got through it. The site got slammed. We got crushed that night. But luckily, we didn't go down. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience, and we hope to do it again someday.
How many hits did you get that day?
Wow.
What was the number? I forgot.
I don't know. We have screenshots. Aren't the screenshots up in the photo gallery?
No, they're not. Oh, they're not. I think I had them put away somewhere. It was up like...
It was...
I remember correctly from
hundreds of thousands within those 2 hours.
Well, I know like a half an hour into the interview, George is like, okay, guys, are you ready? And we're like, well, what, George? He's like, I'm going to give your website out. Are you guys ready for this?
Oh, wow.
Okay, yeah, so what's the website? And so we give the website out, and from that time on, I know Jonathan, the gentleman who was helping us out that night, said between like 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. the site took literally 500,000 hits.
Oh, easy.
Literally.
And we've got the screenshot.
Yeah, we'll have to show them to you guys. It was just, we were like, the site's gone. We're going to lose everything. We're done. Forget it. We're over with. What are we doing here?
He said that response time went down to like 40 seconds or something to load a page.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it did not go down.
Yeah, the site didn't go down.
crash. It was slow, but it did not crash.
Yeah.
So we were really fortunate.
Well, guys, we're gonna take another break here. So if you'll hang tight with us, give us a call here at 800-960-2289 if you want to speak with the guys from GT, or 336-996-1596. We'll be right back right after this. And we're back, I think. Are we back?
Good.
Guys, are you there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
We're back.
All right, Trent was talking to you guys about something on the break. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, a number of things. Yeah, okay. Well, we'll talk about this because it's the first one on the list, I guess. Tell us about the Savage House. Apparently, it's very popular. Let's hear it.
Probably the number one most asked thing we have from like people who have listened to the show over the years, I think, is the story of the Savage House that Doug and I investigated along with a host of other people. Doug, you're going to be able to shed more light on this because the last time we did this, I told something that you didn't like, and you yelled at me, and you beat me senseless.
No, I didn't.
It wasn't horrible all in itself. I mean, you know, it was dark.
That was an average night.
It was dark, you know, it was cool.
Well, okay, this was in our early days of ghost hunting, and people were running around looking for any legend or anything that they could get their hands on. You know, we want to investigate just everything on the planet, and locally here, I think it's in Belleville, Michigan, there was this house. Now it's been torn down to make way for an entrance to a condo subdivision, which I don't know if I've lived there, but there was this house, and it was just a single-family house, and it was abandoned. And when I mean abandoned, it was abandoned quickly. Mm-hmm. There were things such as, some washed dishes on the sink and some still to be washed dishes in the sink. There was food in the refrigerator, and no, it doesn't smell after a couple dozen years. There was a towel hanging over, still drying after, 12, 15 years. It's been drying, hanging over the
Still
shower.
drying?
And it was dry, by the way.
And it was dry by the way.
I just said if it was wet, that kind of freaked me out.
Yeah, that would.
It's like still drying. It's dripping every now and then.
That would be
it's
fact
like,
number one of
Right, that would be pretty scary. But it was literally left in within a matter of minutes. I mean, they didn't pick the mail was sitting out on their dresser. I mean, they didn't get anything out of this house. They just left. And what was interesting is the legend was that way back in the day, a cult had lived there. This was before the family that left it. Back in the day, a cult had lived there, and they used to perform in the basement. They used to perform these rituals that were, of course, because whenever anybody makes up a legend, they always say it was demonic rituals or satanic rituals, all these bad things. But it was verified by somebody, but I didn't verify it independently, that yes, indeed, the house had been occupied by, it wasn't set, it wasn't necessarily registered as a cult, but it was a commune.
Commune,
right?
Yeah.
Is how it was phrased, and
a family. Let's just say a family.
Happy family, right?
Yeah. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. but they so that it was indeed occupied by some folks who were not blood related, and then a little while after that, this family moves in. The legend is, and this I believe is a legend because this is the most common legend, is that after all the bizarre things that happened in the house, the wife couldn't take it anymore, and just picked up her kids and started walking out. I'm not staying here. So the husband left as well. There's another version of the legend where the wife and the kids leave, and the husband then later goes insane and is seen running down the street in his underwear, right, in the middle of the night, and then taken off to a mental institution. those are the common legends about Savage House. The other legend that I heard, and it's not really a legend because I heard this from somebody who I think would know, somebody who I trust, was that the house was a scene of a multiple murder-suicide, right?
Oh, that's...
And I heard this from somebody who said that her, and I know this person. I was at this lady's wedding, right? I was stood up in her wedding, so I know this lady fairly well, and she says that what happens is she remembers when she was a kid, her family meets her and her friend coming home from school, and says to them, both of you come over and play at our house. So they go, they didn't think all that much of it, but, no, don't go home, to the friend, don't go home, come over and play at our house. So they go over and they're playing at the house. Well, the reason that they had intercepted them and made them go play at my friend's house was because at the time the grandfather, or was it the father? I don't remember that detail.
I thought it was the father.
Well, anyway, the guy who was like performing this, annihilation of the family was sitting on the back porch waiting for the girl to come home from school to finish her off before finishing himself off. But then by the police had gotten there, and then he ended up committing suicide. So the girl ended up surviving because she was intercepted coming home from school.
Wow.
And so that's, and I think that's a little bit more on the credible side because of the source. Because the source of the legends is unknown. The source of the multiple murder suicide story is known, and was told to me by somebody who claims to have directly impacted that story. Provided the safe house, while this event was playing out. So either way, the family left absolutely everything just right there.
Yeah, everything's still there.
It was all overgrown. It was a single-family dwelling, as I said before, and as you pull in, it was just all totally overgrown. The back door was a steel door, and this is the first thing that greets you because you can't get to the front door.
It's too overgrown. You can't even get near it.
But the back door you could get to. So you pull into the side, you go to the back door, and staring out at you in the rust had formed on this door, and it was a giant skull.
Oh, wow.
And I don't mean it's like one where you go, oh, do you see a bunny in that?
No.
Well, this was not any selective perception whatsoever. I mean, you walk up to the door, and you don't need anybody. There's this thing in the paranormal world where, whether it's with EVPs or with photos or anything like that, it's called front loading, okay? Where somebody will tell you, hey, do you see a bunny rabbit in that mist type thing in that photo? And now that you have that in your mind, you're going to know, well, you're looking for a bunny rabbit then, so you're going to see a bunny rabbit, right? So it's front loaded in your brain. You're looking to find that now. Literally, when you walk to this door, and I mean, the first time I went there, my first experience with this house, I went on vacation for a weekend. I just got home from vacation and got a phone call from Doug. And he's like, we need to go to this house now. And I'm like, well, dude, I've been on the road for like 5 hours. I'm like sunburnt and tired. What's up? And I got to be back to work at like 6 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. He's like, well, dude, we got to go. We have to go. I'm telling you, we need to go. So I'm like, well, you're driving. You come pick me up and you take me out there, and then that's cool. Those are my terms. So we ended up going out to this place, and literally the first time I walked up to the back door of this house, I said it. I remember this as clear as day. I looked at Doug and said, at the back door, this metal door he's referring to, I'm like, that looks like a skull, man. He's like, dude, everybody says that. It's a trip. Literally, you can see it in the door. It was really, really weird,
Yeah.
It has those, I know.
And that's what greets you as you first approach the house is this skull, And you go into the house, and you see everything left as it was, a dozen or more years before, and you're like, wow, something had to have happened here. And as you tour the house, you just know that something really, really negative was going on.
There was just too many belongings that were left there. That was just the weirdest part. For example, Doug mentioned a few things, but other items that were just weird, like a guitar amplifier, Jay. I mean, there was an old crate guitar amplifier laying on the floor, right? And I'm like, hey, plug that thing in and rock it out,
The infamous Motley Crue poster.
No, not Motley Crue, Iron Maiden.
Oh, the infamous Iron Maiden poster.
There was an 1984 era Iron Maiden poster that was upstairs in the attic, and one of the rules we have is when you go to an area like this, you don't take anything. You don't take anything. That don't belong to you. And I have to be honest with you, I was sitting there looking at that poster going, oh, man, I'd love to have that hanging in my room, I still left it there, though. But it was these things like, I mean, I know they're not really important things, but they're things you tend to pack when you move.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that and your bills. And,
your bills.
This poster may have ended up, had you taken it, it may have just, you didn't.
I didn't take it.
But had you taken it, it just may have ended up in John Zassis's Paranormal Museum.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say.
Yeah. Probably would have been a bad idea to take anything.
It's bad karma one way or the other. You just don't take stuff. I don't care if the place is abandoned or not. Like I said, I'm not going to lie to you. I was like, oh, man, I told Doug, I'm like, man, that... You know how choice that poster is? I'd love to have that thing,
Back from the Bruce Dickinson days.
Yeah, that's with before he quit the first time, I mean, that was with the old school. I mean, that's, the classic Iron Maiden lamp. So I was, totally geeked about that. There was all these things, boxes of books everywhere in the attic, just books all over the place, old books laying around, paperback books, you name it, it was all there. There were in the front room also, it was very... I would say juvenile too. That's the conclusion we all came to. When you walk in the back door and you're greeted by the skull says hi to you. You walk in, and you walk through the house to the front living room. There is on each opposing wall. The one wall is an actual drawing of Baphomet, where the original. If you guys know the actual illustration of Baphomet, it's the one where he's sitting Indian style, showing the peace sign. And it's the horned god, they call it, or whatever. But that was a picture of Baphomet. The pentagram was actually not inverted, though. It was the right way up, which didn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, oops.
Yeah, oops. Somebody messed up their...
Amateur occultists.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. It was a wrong
bunch of amateurs.
Total amateurs. The other wall actually had, another demon, in some chick. I don't want to get into that, but...
Oh, okay.
It was pretty goofy. It was, of course, if you're, I'll relay this story to you guys. We did go there a second time, right? If you've done this, even in our infant years doing this kind of stuff, we walked in there and said, okay, this really doesn't scare me. I'm not nervous about this. This is a bunch of idiot kids here, squatting in a place with a bunch of beers, and they're probably listening to Slayer or something like that, and they were inspired to draw these things on the wall. Wonderful. Hope they had a great time. It's not going to scare me at all. The second time we went there, though, it was myself and Doug and a couple of other gentlemen, and they actually brought a couple of very young girls. And this was a Sunday night, mind you, at 11, 12 o'clock at night. These girls were, I think, they were 14 and 16. They were children.
Which, of course, is not normal ghost hunting protocol.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, it sounds like a lost police arrest thing to me, but go ahead.
Well, I said that. I'm like, these girls are very young, and I asked them, ladies, why aren't you in bed right now? Don't you have school tomorrow or something? Oh, yeah, whatever. I'm like, well, okay, but... this isn't really cool. You guys shouldn't be in this house this late at night. We don't know what's going to happen here. We're all adults here. You're children, for God's sakes.
Right.
And if the other people, no, they're fine. They're perfectly cool. I'm like, okay, all right, well, I'm just warning you. We don't know what's going to happen here. Well, what happened that night, this particular night, we don't know what spooked them. We don't know what happened to her. One of the girls literally started hyperventilating in the house. We had to drag her out of the house. She could not walk on her own. We had to drag her out of the back door of the house and calm her down.
Wow.
And that's when Doug and myself both said, okay, you go. It's time for you to leave now. You don't belong here. You can't handle this kind of stuff. This is not for you. Get out of here. You need to leave. Wow. But something spooked that girl. Now, what I think it was, a lot of it, again, is this thing with front-loading. They may have been front-loaded before that. One of the things we tell people a lot about this particular study is, every day, Doug and myself run into somebody, and if we mention what we do and the show we do, they ask us, they have their own stories to relate to us, and they ask us, have you ever seen a ghost? The number one most asked question to us. And I always tell them, I'm like, look, if you want to see a ghost, we will show you a ghost. It's very easy for you to see a ghost. For example, what we'll do is we'll take you to a house with big overgrown bushes all over the place, and what appears to be a skeleton face on the back door of the house, right? And on the way to this house, we'll tell you a bunch of ghost stories about this house and what we've seen, and we'll keep telling you that over and over and over again. So by the time you get there, you're so freaked out, you don't even want to get out of the car, right? Well, I guarantee you, you're going to see a ghost then, or you're going to feel something, or you're going to hear something that's going to spook you beyond all belief and have you running out of the house literally out of breath. That's what happened that night with these little girls, we believe.
Right.
Doug?
Right, and that of course is not how you're supposed to ghost hunt. And but even if you and we did go there on some serious hunts rather than whatever it was.
Babysitting that
night.
Babysitting.
Yeah.
We did go on serious hunts with serious people, and the place was dark. It's the only place that I have ever seen a shadow figure.
Wow.
And which was pretty life-changing experience, and so it was definitely quite an interesting place.
Huh. Well, tell me. So you went through this whole house. I know what this is it reminds me of different things. You know when you're in high school and stuff, and they're like, yeah, if you go down this old road, I think it's Payne Road here in our area.
Stokes County.
Yeah, if you go down Payne Road at a certain time of night and you cut your car off, then you'll see palm prints come on the back of your car, and your car will actually go up the hill or something like that. It's some kind of weird.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
yeah. There's a lot.
Except for that, you can tell them that story, but it may or may not happen. I don't think people. I mean, would people actually get out and push their car up and leave palm prints? I don't remember doing that.
You know what I'm saying? It's stuff like that, though. You've got it in your mind already, and then you get there, and you'll see stuff no matter if it's there or not.
Oh, easy.
Stuff.
Yeah. Every branch is going to look like an arm reaching out towards you if you're in that frame of mind.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
If you've been front-loaded like that, you're going to be hypersensitive. That's what I tell people. You're going to be hypersensitive. Every little thing is going to be a ghost. We've heard, literally, in this house, Savage House.
I've heard. I was in there with investigators who should know better.
Should know better, yeah.
And every little creak, everything.
Literally,
was a ghost.
a piece of the ceiling fell out one night, and a couple of people freaked out. Oh my God, what's going on? I'm like, okay, stop. Let's think about this for a second. Now, this house has broken windows. It's exposed to the elements. Therefore, rain, snow, sleet, hurricane, everything we get here in Michigan, because we get everything here in Michigan, right? This house is going to be exposed to the inside of the house, right? So what that's going to do to the drywall is it's going to rot the drywall out, and it's going to make it susceptible to falling apart, especially when you have 3 or 4 people walking around the house. It's going to vibrate the house. It's going to fall apart.
In their defense, though, it did happen in response. It seemed to happen in response to a question of, "Will you show us a sign?"
Oh God.
So you're doing an EVP session.
Yeah.
Please show us a sign, or will you show us a sign? And then.
Well, now if we were in a brand new house with windows, okay, with windows that was not exposed to the elements.
Yes, there are explanations.
Yeah.
But it was interesting timing, I think.
Yeah,
Doug
certainly.
did see the shadow figure, though. You did mention that.
Yeah, tell us a little more about that, because I have a very similar. Well, I have a experience about a shadowy figure, but tell us about that.
We had left my camcorder in the house to record, just an empty house for a while, and we had gone out to the van, and we're all sitting in the van waiting at the requisite half hour. And I don't know who picked that, but it was a half hour, and time was up. So we get out of the van, and we're now there's 4 or 5 of us. I don't remember. I remember who was standing next to me because he had the 1,000,000 candle power
flashlight
spotlight thing, which is pretty much was necessary on those grounds.
Yeah, it was super. It was pitch black.
It was so dark and overgrown, and it was pretty dangerous. Inside the house, it was a bit much, but on the grounds, the 1,000,000 candle power spotlight floodlight thing was pretty necessary. So he's standing to my left, and he turns it on, right? And so instantly this beam goes, and lights up
the whole
pretty much the backyard.
Yeah, the backyard.
And which of course is overgrown to about chest height. Is these weeds and stuff. And right running through the weeds is this shadow figure right in the beam, and it was running from my left to my right, and it ran, and it was real because as soon as it was leaving this beam of light, it sort of leapt up in the air, just a little hop maybe, and I heard a twig snap. So instantly and simultaneously, the fellow standing to my left said, "Whoa!" and at the same time I said it. And then, of course, did you see that? What did you see? You know, that ensued. But it was definitely a shadow figure, and it was definitely physical. It was real. I mean, I don't know if you could, or would want to touch it, but I mean, it was real enough to make noise, and it was there. It wasn't a figment of the imagination, and it was, if it had been a shadow in this million candle power beam, which would have been impossible. But if it were a shadow, it wouldn't have, made noises or acted like it was running. It was a real thing, and it was really a shadow figure because it was absolutely totally black in the middle of this million candle power beam.
Yeah, I have a very brief story to follow that up, and I'll be quick about it. There's a house down here in Davidson County where also the rumors of not really a rumor, it's actually a matter of court record of
court record
or something like that. I don't know.
It's a matter of court record. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
Don't look at me like that. Look at the wall, Scott, while I tell that story.
I even have Chuck laughing.
I'm not both of you. All right, fine, forget it. I'm not telling the story.
No, go ahead. Actually, it's a good story. Go ahead. Tell the story.
Anyway, okay. Right. But anyway, it's a multiple homicide, suicide situation, and about 2 families have lived in there in the past century. Both of them didn't stay too long. It's got a house. It's a house with quite a reputation. Anyway, a friend of mine, we went down there one night and just to check it out, see what's going on, and I was pretty skeptical, because it's a very spooky old house. So obviously the mind tends to wander, and you tend to have these kind of thoughts of like, oh, well, it already looks scary, anything's going to freak me out and everything like that. And so we were there about half of an hour, 45 minutes, something like that. And we started hearing noises about the house, and I was very skeptical, as I said before. And my friend was starting to get very freaked out and said, we got to get out of here. Something's wrong, And I said, oh, come on, it's just an old house, It's got a bad reputation. But eventually he was very insistent, and so, all right, we're going to leave. And like I said, these noises became more and more noticeable and loud. And I got in the car, and I cut on the lights, and in the rear view, fairly bright, I look in the rearview mirror, and all of a sudden, in the rearview mirror, running from right to left, around behind the car, I see this black silhouette of a figure. And the thing was, it was pitch black, as you had mentioned, and the window was rolled down, and I heard footsteps very close to the car, and the thing must have been, I don't know, it was very tall, obviously, but it was hunched over and walking really, really fast to my side of the driver's side, and that was it. It wasn't much, but it was enough for me to say, okay, well, maybe there is something to it, and so I just forwarded and got out of there. But it was, I was very skeptical, but up until that point, when I saw it, run across like that, I was like, oh my gosh, what is that, And that was basically it, and anyway, I guess that would be a shadow figure. I don't know what it was, but I don't think we've ever gone back there.
No, I have.
Do you remember if it had a hat on?
Huh?
Did it have a hat?
Well, I tell you what it did have. It looked like, honest to goodness, it looked like somebody was like a punk rocker, in the fact that it had multiple spiky projections coming from the top of his head. Now, I don't know what to make of that, but it was very tall and very thin. And
I was thinking it was a kid in a ninja suit for a little bit.
I mean, honestly, the way it was stooped over and just estimating how I could see it in the rearview mirror, the thing probably was if it was standing up, it would have been at least 6'5" or 7 foot tall. You know?
Wow.
And really, really thin, like real thin.
You sure it wasn't a Sasquatch or anything?
I don't know. It was too skinny for one of those things, I think.
Okay.
And it didn't seem to have much hair at all. It was just, and it was moving fast, and that was it. I got out of there. You know, I've been trying to talk Scott into coming up there and check out the house.
It doesn't happen.
I don't do that.
Yeah. It doesn't work that way. So,
I'm a scaredy cat.
Yeah. That thing is
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
What's interesting about the shadow figures is, at least that one that I had seen, the one I saw once, did not seem to want to be noticed. I mean, obviously it was running. It was trying to get away from being seen. But, you know, where could it go? We had just turned on a 1,000,000 candle power spotlight. You know?
Right.
So it just had to get out of there as quickly as possible, and it did. So evidently it was, you know, hanging around, or it was en route to something. I mean, it did not want us to see it, but we happened to glimpse it. And I don't think, I think that things that are that scared of me, you know, I think it's okay for them to be there. So if they want to be that scared of me, that's fine. Just, you know, make sure you stay away.
Right. Well, on that note, unfortunately, it's time for another break. We got the fellows from Ghost Talk here. We'll give the numbers on the flip side of this break. We'll be back in a second.
You're listening to the OmniSound Radio 1 Network, bringing you the apocalypse with a twist of lime. www.omnisoundradio1.net.
And we're back, guys.
Okay, Scott, you got a funny story you were going to tell me?
Well, yeah, actually, we were talking over the break about funny things that have happened to you on ghost hunts or out on trips like this and stuff. Well, we mentioned earlier that we went to Moundsville Penitentiary this past weekend, West Virginia State Penitentiary.
Right, we were guests of Mountaineer Ghost.
Yes, Holly, thank you
Holly
again.
was awesome.
Holly here, so totally cool, wonderful lady. Brought us down there to check this place out, right? Well, this is I don't know if you guys have ever been there or not. This is a huge prison, gigantic, right? And obviously, when you're doing an investigation in there, it's very dark too. So what was going on is there was 4 of us that went on this trip. It was myself, Doug, Bonnie, and my girlfriend Amber. And what happened was somehow in the middle of the night, we started out. They were trying to give us a little tour of the place, but we were all so excited to go out and start checking the place out. We all just started splitting off a little bit.
Scott, I hate to interrupt you, but we've got a call. Is that okay?
Sure, go right ahead.
Okay. Caller, hello?
Hello, this is Max.
Hey, Max, how's it going?
It's going good. I figured I'd go and call in. I'm really enjoying these guys today.
He doesn't normally enjoy us, so it's...
Yeah. Normally he's
very funny, Scott.
full of seething rage towards us, you know.
Yeah, well, can you guys hear him okay?
Yeah, you hear him fine.
Yeah. Hi, Matt.
Although I'm having a hard time hearing you guys a little bit here.
Oh, sorry. We've tried to crank up the volume here, but it's just not giving us any more juice.
Yeah.
What you got for us?
Now. Well, I don't have any good ghost stories. I just figured I'd call in since you guys haven't had any callers and shoot the shit for a few minutes. And
What's going on, Max?
I mean, I've been hearing so many great things that have been going on with all these shows coming to OmniSound, and I mean, with the TAPS Para Radio, I mean, the list keeps growing and growing. It's quite amazing.
No, Max runs the boards for that, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, Max runs the TAPS 18 board and the other regular TAPS board for us at OmniSound.
Well, I'm a technical guy. I deal with the technical stuff, but it's more laid back on the main board than the TAPS 18 board. You got to have fangs and be ready to fire back over there. Because if you're meek, they're going to eat you alive, including the admins. They'll eat you alive too, man. It's pretty hardcore.
So have you enjoyed that so far?
Oh, it's been great. It's been a learning experience. I mean, I've never seen the forum, like the entire database when I got it was so badly managed it wasn't even funny. I mean, I had to try to go and put this together. Finally, after talking with Jason, we finally said, he said, start from scratch. Whatever, do what you got to do. Get this thing going for these people. So, we started them from scratch, and, so far it's been going good.
Awesome.
Good.
Quite cool.
Yeah, good job, Max.
Yeah, good job, Max.
Can you guys hear Max okay?
Yeah,
we hear him.
Okay, Max, are you still having trouble hearing those guys?
Yeah, I can. It's like they're at the far end of a tunnel down there.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
That's where people keep putting us.
Yeah, sure, Doug.
Yeah, we had to move all our stuff from the cave out back, up here. Pretty time-consuming.
Oh,
yeah, Doug's at the other end of the string, I'm sure.
Right. Yes, that's right. That's a cell phone in this part of the area. So you run out of string.
I can't out here. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry.
Well, Max, thanks for calling, buddy.
Okay, I'll catch you guys in the chat room.
All right, cool.
Bye.
Max.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
yeah, bye.
Okay, Scott.
God, he was merciful on us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead and finish your story. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Oh, wait, we got another call.
Another call?
Yeah.
It looks like it.
Hello, you're on World of the Unexplained.
Hey, how's it going? I just have a couple questions for your guests.
Sure.
Okay. Should I have my, I'm on the internet here listening to you guys. Is it like radio? Should I have it turned off or?
Yeah. You want to just cut that down in the background so we don't
it's down.
bleed over. All right. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Ellis. Hey, Trent, what's up?
Oh, hey there.
Okay.
Hey, Ellis, what's up?
Ellis, all right.
Trent's here. Yeah, well, I'm
Shut up.
What?
I said Trent has friends? Oh, my God.
Well,
it is a surprise to all. Okay.
He does after he paid me the $10.
Right.
Okay.
But, no, I'm in Greensboro here, and great shows. Love you guys' show and the topic tonight. And I'm not really a hardcore, ghost person or whatever, but I just have a couple questions for the guests and for anybody there, I guess. But what, I guess, is the most inexplicable or, to use the word of the show, unexplained ghost story you guys have ever heard of? And also, like any good White House correspondent, I'm going to make it a three-part question. What is maybe the best movie or documentary maybe about ghosts? And also, what is the best theory you guys have heard of as to why there are ghosts, or if there are ghosts, why there are ghosts, unperturbed spirits, whatever. Just wondering what the theory is there.
As far as the first part of that question is,
just so I can hear you guys, I think I'm going to hang up now. Is that cool?
That's fine.
That's fine. Thanks, Ellis.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Ellis. Take it easy, man.
All right, Scott.
The first part of that question was, what is the most unexplainable ghost story we've ever heard? Geez. There's a list of those, as a matter of.
Oh, yeah.
Well, this gives me a great opportunity to tell the most unexplainable phenomena I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
There's this thing here in Michigan, in Algonac, Michigan, we call it the train wreck site, and it's basically now a walking path. It used to be obviously train track, and they tore them out and made a walking and biking path out of it. It's like a Parks and Rec kind of thing, and we go over to this bridge on this walking path, and the bridge has metal railings, and there were fingerprints on this bridge, and as if people were trying to climb up out of the water to get onto the bridge.
Huh.
That's how these fingerprints were situated, and we got many, many photographs of them. What's really unexplainable about that, and creepy about that, is we all had living fingers, right, attached to us, because we carry them with us wherever we go.
Yeah.
And we attempted to make similar fingerprints, right?
Okay.
Similar phenomena on this bridge with our fingers that are very much alive, and we could not duplicate it that night or any other night. We would, if you wiped a fingerprint away, it would come back. Like, you could wipe it away just ever so slightly, and it would, you know, like, it wouldn't go away completely. You couldn't wipe these things away completely, but they would instantly just, you know, come back to look like fingerprints. So we couldn't get rid of them, and we couldn't duplicate them. And what's amazing about the story is that we've never seen these fingerprints, this phenomena. We had never seen it before, and we've investigated this spot a lot. We never saw it before, and we have never seen it since.
Oh man, you know what would have been a great thing, Doug, if you guys could have actually taken like a piece of tape, you know, like the police use, and lift it, and see if we could find out who it belonged to. That would have been. Oh wow.
Yeah, that would have been really interesting, and of course we didn't bring our, you know,
our police tape.
Yeah, our evidence kit.
You didn't bring the FBI kit, guys. What's wrong with you?
Oh man, everybody has
Very
one.
Good ghost hunting.
We are so not with it, I swear.
But that was the most unexplainable, and that was, and I mean, maybe some physicist or somewhere can explain this to me, but, or maybe not to me, but to himself.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't. I couldn't duplicate them, and I still can't duplicate them, and I know my fingers are, you know, real. Mm-hmm. So what created this fingerprint phenomena? That was the real.
We still can't explain it to this day.
Creepiest thing.
That is truly bizarre. I mean, it really is.
Did you guys get this on video or anything, by any chance?
Not on video, but we do have it in
photos.
Photos. Yeah,
they're on the site.
They're on the site somewhere in
the investigate.
Humongous Ghostly Talk photo album.
It's ghostlytalk.com. Now, part 2 is what Ellis asked us, what we think is the best documentary out there on ghosting, and I have to pimp our friend on this.
I don't blame you.
I'm not pimping him because he's our friend. I'm pimping him because he did a phenomenal job on this. There's a movie out there called Afterlife.
Okay.
It's a film called Afterlife, and it was made by a man named Tom Smith at the time of a company called Paper Target Moving Pictures.
How old is this film, Scott?
This film's about 3 years old now.
3 years old, I think.
What happened, what we did is, this actually involves Savage House, too, ironically. There's a big section in this film on Savage House.
And Trainwreck site.
And the Trainwreck sites there also. There's a bunch of sites that we've talked about tonight on this film.
Do they have this in Blockbuster, or is this something that you have to spend?
You can actually order it.
Indie, yeah.
I'm going to pimp the website if you guys don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead. Pimp away.
If you go to www.smiths, S as in Smiths, SMITHS dash, like hyphen, Grove, GROV as in Victor, E as in elephant.com. That's Tom Smith's new website now, and he actually has, the original copy came out just on VHS back in the day when it came out originally, but he's since then transposed it over to DVD format now with a bunch of bonus stuff too, and you can order it. I think it's only like 10 or 15, I think 20 bucks at the most. It's a really good deal for the amount of stuff you get. We got a couple copies in the Ghostly Talk library here. The reason I'm not pimping this movie because we were part of it and it's our friend, it's because there are tons of documentaries out there, Ellis, okay? I'm sure you know that. You can go and get them, you know, like Unsolved Mysteries box set. You're going to get a really well-packaged, beautiful, well-produced piece of evidence there where you're going to have, you know, stories from experts and all this fun stuff. But what we did with this film is it was very, very, very real. A lot of the areas that we went to, it stated, and I know this because I narrated the film, right?
It's also very embarrassing because one of the scenes is where we're trying to get these stupid dowsing rods to work, and they did not work at all.
No, they didn't.
When we were trying to film it.
But that's the point right there, is that this film, there are some weird things that did happen, you know, during the filming when Tom was out there filming with us and we were, you know, out doing our investigations. But there were a lot of situations where nothing did happen. It was a very quiet night, and it's stated very clearly, like, okay, the night we were here at this place, nothing really occurred. Sorry to tell you guys that. No demons tried to kill us. Nothing came out. I mean, it was and in my opinion, you know, when you get into this this film is very, very much parallels what we do, because there are a lot of nights where you don't really yield any crazy results, or you don't get anything on your tape recorder, or you don't get any crazy looking photos. Some nights are very boring, unfortunately.
Yep.
This film really mimics that, and so as far as a documentary goes, I'm very proud to have been part of that, and so is Doug, because it's a very real thing.
Well, there's other ones. I mean, there was one with what was
that was me. That was me. Sorry.
What did you do that for?
I'm sorry.
We wanted to bring a little feedback to your show.
Yeah.
we do that enough on our own.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Sometimes intentional.
But there was one. Oh, what's her name? Chandra Levy?
Chandra Levy? Yeah, Chandra Levy.
I don't remember.
She was missing.
That might not be the right Chandra, but there was.
Yeah, the one with the affair with the congressman.
Oh, different Chandra.
Okay.
Totally different Chandra. There was another Chandra, and she had a ghost hunting group a long time ago, and she may still have it. I don't know. And they investigated this interesting old farmhouse thingy, and they made a movie of it, and it was interesting, but it didn't. I don't know. It was good, and it was an indie production. And if I remembered, I should probably write it down and make links on the website to it. But it was good, but it wasn't on the order. See, Tom, who did Afterlife, is just so darn talented that it's he really does raise the bar as far as those things go. My favorite series, though, as far as professionally produced, has got to be the one with that creepy old guy. Who's the creepy old guy again? It's called Ghost Stories.
Oh, God.
And I can never remember it when I want to know it, but this creepy old guy narrates it, and it's a series of 6 VHS.
Oh, I know what you're talking
DVDs.
about. Yeah, you have it.
I have a VHS copy that I loaned to Tone of Tone and Niche. And
Yeah.
I have the extra copy that Sean had.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got copies of this thing all over the place. But
email us, Ellis, and we can get you some more information on that.
Yeah.
One I want to throw out there that you need to stay away from, though, Ellis. This is very, 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 very important. I received a copy of this show it was only one show, right? And it was supposed to be a real documentary. It was filmed by the BBC in England, okay? And it was supposed to be a real haunted house with gigantic poltergeist activity was going on in this house. All the time, knocking, rattling on, all this crazy stuff. I don't even want to get into the details of this, but I need you to stay away from this film, because I watched this thing, and about halfway through, me and my girlfriend are watching this film, and we're like, okay, is this supposed to be a documentary, or is this supposed to be just a hokey joke about ghost hunting? Because I'll just tell you what, I'll ruin it for you. I don't care. It sucks anyways. The end of this film, literally, the house starts to shake. The whole house starts to shake, right? Okay? And they had the people on site doing talking in the microphones and stuff like that, and they had the people in a studio talking to them also, right? And what happened literally is that the house literally shook to its foundation almost. And somehow the ghost of this house got through the feed lines that went from the on-location remote there to the studio they were at, right? So the end of this particular documentary is literally the studio they're in complete chaos, people running around going crazy, and the cameras are falling over, and the last scene is this camera that falls over on its side, and you hear some evil, dark, ghastly voice saying, like, hello, ha, 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 ha. I did. It was.
And this is called what again?
I want to borrow that.
It was it was hysterical. It was hilarious. We were dying, right? And it was supposed to be like this real thing, and apparently a few people fell for it, because I've heard rave reviews about this thing. I looked it up on the internet.
What's the name of it?
It's called Ghost Watcher.
Ghost Watcher.
What year did it come out?
19. Yeah. Well, judging by the fashion, I'm saying early 90s.
That's pre-Blair Witch then.
It was horrible. It was horrible. I hated it. It was.
You said it was
on John.
Pre-Blair Witch.
Kind of, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
What a crappy film, too, by the way.
Yeah,
I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed by the Blair Witch movie, man. I was.
Well, the first one, yeah, because you got to think about that film right there. When that movie came out, that had to be the most brilliant stroke of marketing genius I've ever seen, because
I thought it was real. I was one of the idiots that fell for it.
Same here.
Yeah, this is the same here.
Dude, Trent, you got to watch this thing. It's about the Blair Witch. It's really crazy. And
Trent and I were we were in the Outer Banks, man. This is a good story, actually. I'm going to tell you. I hope I don't embarrass you, Trent. And we decided to go to the hotel pool, and it was closed, and they had a big fence around it. And so we decided to climb the fence, right, and go swimming because it was like 2 in the morning or something. Well, anyway, so we climbed the fence and we're swimming around, and then we're coming out and we're climbing the fence to get back over. And so Trent does this I don't know what he gets in his head. He decides he's going to do this swan dive over. Now me and Trent are big guys, right?
I'm Batman.
And Trent does this swan dive over the gate and lands on his foot sideways. Oh my God! And this man, what size shoes do you wear?
I don't know, 12s.
Okay, he wears
Something
12s. Dude, his foot swelled up like a size of a football, man. I mean, we thought it was broke. We ended up going to the emergency room the next day and everything. It was awful. But we were watching that in our hotel room that next day because he couldn't do anything, so we were just sitting around the room. We're watching this on Sci-Fi because they had that little thing put together, that they put on the DVD. And me and him are going, I'm like, look, dude, see, it's real. And then I started thinking about it, logically. I'm like, who's going to get sued over all this? I'm like, the families aren't going to release this kind of, and this is way before I went to law school. But I'm thinking, this just doesn't seem to fit everything. But anyway, I was working a job at the time, and I made this bet with another employee that I work with. I'm like, no, it's real. And she's like, no, it's not. And she goes to the website and shows me, and I felt like such an idiot.
We went and saw the film at that place called the Main Art Theater here in our wonderful, it's another city here in Michigan called Royal Oak. We had a group of 10 people that went to see this film a week before. The Main Art Theater got a hold of this film, and they were able to show it a week before it was released domestically, right? So we went and saw this film. And, I mean, literally, we had the same reaction that you guys had. We're like, at the end, I mean, the whole theater literally went, after you see, the last thing where the camera falls. Right? Yeah. Everybody just went, everybody had to say, oh, my God. We were just so creeped out. Well, we all went to eat after that, right? And we grabbed this paper we have here in Detroit called the Metro Times. And my friend we ordered our food, and we're sitting there talking oh my God, that's the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life. That's so crazy. And my buddy's like, whoa, hang on, dudes, hang on. Whoa, hang on. Somebody leaked it on the Metro Times and said that it was a filmed movie. They just did it some different crazy way, but nobody really died. Nothing happened. There's no Blair Witch. It's a big lie.
My whole thing with the movie, and I didn't read about it in the Metro Times, and I didn't see it a week early. I saw it actually really late in the game. But my whole thing was, why hadn't I heard about this legend before? Because I thought I was pretty hip and cool on most of the amazing legends.
Oh yeah.
I've read so darn much that why hadn't I heard about it? So.
Oh wait, Doug, I have to comment. I remember hearing one of your old shows where you're talking about the vampire book by that Chris Stonenos, whatever his name is.
Constantine.
Oh God, what a crappy book, man! I totally agree with you. What a bunch of trash.
Did you read it? Oh my.
Oh
God.
yes, I did. Oh God.
And then he warned me not to. So.
Yeah,
it was awful. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah, I've read so darn much that you would think I would have heard of, this Blair Witch legend.
Yeah.
And so when I watched it, I'm like, this doesn't line up with any single legend that I'm familiar with. But who knows? Maybe, but I doubt it's anything real. And then of course, shortly after I saw the movie, they had it on every morning and late evening talk show that we all got we all fell for it. So yeah, but my whole thing was it didn't line up with any story I was already familiar with, and that pretty much gave it away for me.
I was just hoping for evidence of the paranormal on that. That's what I was all psyched about, and then I was totally bummed out at the end.
The sad thing is though that place was it Beckettsville or Buckettsville, Maryland, something like that.
I think it was Beckettsville.
Yeah, Beckettsville. They got slammed, and for months and months after this little town in the middle of nowhere, and they're just getting slammed by all these tourists that want to come up and see the Blair Witch.
Well, I mean, they could. Make a little extra revenue, I guess. You know, if
Oh, I
they
think
wanted-
they are. I think they sell the little.
You know they loved it.
Oh yeah.
They were
Yeah.
so happy.
They partied for years after that
Yeah.
came out.
People know where we are. It's great.
Well, they were selling the little stick thingies.
Yeah.
I think they were, honestly, the
For like
t-shirts.
probably $10, you know, and it's made out of twigs and twine.
The town craftsman's like, hey, I'm finally going to make
They're
some
like
cash.
more like an 8-year-old that put it together, you know.
You can go to the local restaurant, get your Blair Witch burger and all that fun
Yeah,
stuff.
oh yeah.
There you go.
Oh, it's awful.
Want that extra bloody or?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Oh, man. Well, God,
Scott, we only have 3 minutes left.
I know.
I'm sorry, I just gotta.
We're just having a great time.
That's
here.
awful. Maybe we should have made this a 3.
We'll laugh for the last 3 minutes.
Well, guys, last words.
Yeah. Okay. Last words.
Doug.
Coming up for us is yet even more conferences. You can check our News Corp sponsored MySpace page for our
Sick
schedule.
people over there at News Corp.
And hey, I
saw it. I saw it, Doug.
I am now officially it's not a martyr. What is it when you're two-faced? What?
You're a hypocrite.
I'm a hypocrite. I am an official hypocrite. I went and got a MySpace.
And by the way, Doug, I tried to add you, and you haven't added me yet. You don't like me. Do you?
I haven't been to it except for to create it.
I'm like, when's this guy going to add me? I want to add him, and he won't add me. Jeez, what's going on
I'm
here?
pretty bad at that.
Yeah, we have a list on there, and I'm actually putting together like a page on the Ghostly Talk site with all the conferences we're going to also.
Right, and yeah, we're gonna make a list of our upcoming schedule because I just emailed it around. So there's a lot coming up for Ghostly Talk, and I hope to do more stuff like this and talk with other shows and things like that on OmniSound because this is where it's at, cooperation and indie media.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And you guys are doing a great thing, by the way, too. We love the show, and it's wonderful to be working with you guys. And it's just keep doing what you're doing. It's just every week. Sometimes you grind your head sometimes, but man, I tell you, from a little bit of experience we have doing this, we have a riot doing our show, and we're glad to see you guys are doing it also.
Well,
thanks so much, guys.
We do love what we do, you know.
And we appreciate you coming on the show.
It's our pleasure.
Our pleasure.
I know we didn't even get to half the stuff I want to talk about, but
I know,
you know,
same here.
That's how it goes.
Oh well.
And actually, the third part of Ellis's question too.
Yeah, we'll have you back on later.
Let's email us. You can email us at ghostlytalk@ghostlytalk.com. We'll answer that third question for you if you want.
All right. Well, thanks
It's been
so much,
great.
Scott L. Thank you, Doug. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
You guys have a good night.
Take care.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And that was the Ghostly Talk guys.
I know. That's them, and I think I'm trying to.
Oh. Ooh.
But
We've got new music. Thank you, Chuck.
Oh, you're welcome.
Courtesy of
What is this?
this is STV.
Oh, okay.
It's actually the first
We've got the
song.
Brokeback theme apparently too.
I'm not
Chuck,
playing that.
Chuck wanted us to have the Brokeback Cowboy.
Okay, I might
theme.
play it. All right.
Yeah, go ahead and cue that up real quick. Do you know where it is? Because I think it's just hilarious.
We'll do it next week. We'll make them wait.
All right.
Suspense. It's always the key element for good radio. I think.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. That reminds me. Next week we have Ethan Dettenmeyer. Excuse me, I always mix that up.
Yeah.
On the show from St. John Smith. So we'll probably lose our affiliates because of his language.
Possibly, yes.
I'll try to tell him to tone it down. But anyway, until next week, guys. I guess that's all for us.
Yeah.
Hang on. Stick around for God. I can't talk. Stick around for the guys from out there. They're coming up next.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll see you guys next week.
Scott, you gonna say your?
Sure.
Yeah,
The only it's Jay Scott. The only God, I can't talk.
Forget about it.
Jay Scott, the only JD DJ on the OmniSound Radio 1 network.
I'm Trent Lackey. We're coming to you from Kernersville, North Carolina, a small town, of course, where we talk about big things.
See you next week. This music's so. It's just so. I don't know. It makes me feel like a jazz. I'm just
I know.
like.
You know, I feel like
I
that
can't
guy
talk.
from WKRP in Cincinnati. You know, the guy who did that. I'm sorry. We gotta go.
Yeah, we gotta go.
Sorry.
All right,
Sorry,
see you
guys.
next week, guys. Bye.